Hello. I have a story to tell. And to be perfectly honest, I already told it. And I wanted the resolution on it to be the best it could. So I had the phone turned the other way around, and I did it on the time lapse, which of course is useless for this purpose. Alright, so on to the story. My car has a battery. The battery has been having a little trouble. I've been having to charge it regularly. It has, on occasion, even though I've had the charger on, let me down. So today, the weather was nice, life was good, I cleared out the back, I got at the battery, and then, after I found a 10mm wrench, or socket wrench, which is all that I would need to undo the terminals, I found that there was a little foot thing holding down the end of the battery, which also needs a 10mm wrench, which of course I have. But it's about 9 or 10 inches down, and there's no room to get anything in there, so you got to have an extension. Well, somewhere I have extensions. Do you think I could find them? No, of course not. So, thinking that, of course, I was going to get a new battery today at Canadian Tire, I headed off there. I couldn't take the battery out ahead of time because, of course, I didn't have an extension, but also I can't drive the car without the battery in it. So I head to Canadian Tire. Cool. I go in. I find what I want. I find an extension. Also, there is a pack of a bunch of extensions. And I think, boy, if I get all of these, it costs more, but then I don't have to worry. But anyway, all of these things are in a locked cabinet. And there's a sign that says that all things from the cabinet have to be taken to the cashier by one of their employees. And of course you can't open the cabinet without one of their employees. So I'm looking over the one thing that would do, and I'm also looking over the set that would do everything. The three varying sizes of sockets. And anyway, I figure the one thing would cost me about $15, and the other with the whole bunch would cost me about $40. And I'm thinking, well, what do I want to do? Anyway, it doesn't matter, because of course I can't get them. But I'm thinking. So I walk to the end of the aisle. I see a woman in a red shirt that says Canadian Tire. And I said, hello, can you help me in here? And she said, no, but I'll call somebody. And I hear her do it. She has a phone. It's like an internal phone. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And nobody comes. So I did something that I've not done in a very long time. And the last time I did it was at Sears, Canada. And that, of course, shortly after I did this, no reason. I didn't make this happen. But anyway, Sears, Canada closed. Anyway, I was in Sears, Canada, couldn't find anybody. So I phoned the store and said, hey, I'm looking for some help down in the, hardware kind of lawnmower department. And they said, well, where are you? I said, well, I'm down there. I've been looking all around. I've been going all over the store trying to find anybody who can help me. I can't find anybody. They said, oh, you know what? I didn't call the store. I called the head office. That got results. My golly, people suddenly scrambled to help me. Anyway, not long after, Sears went out of business. So today, there I am. I can't find the woman who summoned people who haven't come. So I phoned the store. I would have maybe called the head office, but I'm sure they're closed on a Saturday. And I get a guy on the phone, and I said, hi, if I come into your store, can you help me or can somebody help me find something? And he said, what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for a socket extension. He said, oh, well, hang on, let me look. And he looks and he starts babbling about online things and this and that. And he says, no, we don't have anything like that. Now, I usually stay pretty calm. And I still, considering all things, I think I was pretty calm. But I did say, in a rather terse, quick, exasperated voice, don't tell me that. I'm in aisle 34, in your store, right now, looking at what I want. So don't tell me you don't have it. And still he tried to tell me, oh, no, we're out of stock, we don't, whatever. And I was like, I'm in your store. I'm in aisle 34. Can you just send somebody to open the cabinet? And then there was some sort of kerfuffle going. And anyway, So I continued to wait. I did finally see the woman with the phone, and she looked at me like, why are you still here? And I said, well, because nobody's come. But I have just phoned, and just then in the distance, a man appeared, and he actually had a tag on that indicated he might be some level of management, and his age did seem to exceed 16. He was probably actually in his 40s, maybe 50s, I don't know. And he was quite helpful, and he opened the cabinet, and he said, what are you after? And I said, well, I think this. And he looked it up, and he actually found that the whole bunch of them was on sale. It wasn't marked on sale, but it was on sale. It was an in-store special, but no sign. So I could get the whole bunch, instead of getting the one for 15 or the whole bunch for 40, I could get the whole bunch for about 22 or 23 after taxes. So I said, good deal. But I did make mention to him. I said, you should tell the guy whoever answered the phone, like, you got to do better. You got to do better. Anyway, so then I said, of course, you need to escort me to the cashier with this, don't you? And he said, no, you're good. So I said, alrighty. So I went to the cashier, I paid, I came out, I gave it a try. Oh, but just wait. And I said, oh, yes, I need to go over to the automotive department because I need a battery. That's why I need this extension, so I can get my battery out. Well, because I had to wait so long in aisle 34, it's now past 6 o'clock. The automotive department is closed, and they won't sell me, even the store is open till 9, they won't sell me a battery because the automotive people aren't there. So, I did buy the extensions, and I did ponder buying a set of screwdrivers that was normally $124 or $125, on sale 80% off, only $25. But I didn't. Why? Because the customer service sucks. The last guy was okay, but leading up to that, it sucks. And the fact that they won't sell me a battery because their automotive people aren't there. Like, what if I was in the middle of something? What if I was in distress? What if I had to get somewhere? I had a pregnant woman in the car, or some other thing. I'm sorry, we can't sell you a battery because our guys don't give you. The batteries are right there. They're right there. They're not locked up. They're not in a cabinet. Anyway, so I did test out the extensions, or the one that I needed, and it worked fine. I was able to get the little foot thing off, although I can't really get it because it's stuck down there. I guess I can get the foot thing when I get the battery out. I'm not sure how I can get it back on, but there's another strap. You don't want the battery flying around or doing horrible things in case there's a crash. But anyway, I'll get it sorted out. So I guess tomorrow I'll have to go back to Canadian Tire. But, if I had another choice and the price was comparable, I'd go somewhere else. I would. Because, customer service is important. Like my brother was telling me he needed some sockets, thin wall sockets for some wheels. And he went to the Canadian Tire in Minden, Ontario, and he got horrible service. And it was like, we don't have it. We don't want to help you. We're not going to look. We're not going to do anything. Go away. Leave us alone. We're busy. Which isn't exactly what they said, but that's essentially what happened. So we ended up at and this is an example of good customer service. Can you imagine? A Canadian Tire. He went to the store in Lindsay, and he found somebody who, he's looked around, he couldn't find the thing. He found somebody, a young person who happened to be a woman who had a phone of some sort that she was able to look up and say, oh, well, no wonder you can't find them. We don't have any. But she was helpful. And then, not only that, she said, hey, you know what? Fenland Falls has 3 of them. So even though her store was not going to make a sale, Canadian Tire would. And that is customer service. With a smile, helpful, fine. Like, in the midst of things, like, I'm sure they have lots of beans to count and things to put on shelves and all kinds of things. But when there's a paying customer standing, in my case, in aisle 34, at the Canadian Tire in Markham on Major Mackenzie, not far from the Highway 404, when they're there, ready to buy something, your other stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And certainly management should say, oh, you were helping a customer? Cool. Because that's what we need. We need people to buy things. It doesn't matter if you're putting out all the little ticky things or taking the carts or whatever you're doing. The most important thing is serve the customer. Reminds me of Steve Dangle, the Toronto Maple Leaf guy who has the thing called, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, Steve Dangle, and he talks about when goalies leave the net and do stupid things and get scored on. And he says, if you're the goaltender, tend the goal. Well, if you are working at Canadian Tire, tend the customers. Because without them, what do you got? You have Sears Canada, which is out of business. Probably cost them gazillions to close all their stores and do all the things they had to do. So, and now, of course, other people have taken over their space, and the space has been broken up and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so this story will continue because tomorrow I will go back, chances are, to Canadian Tire, but I'll tell you something. Tonight, I'm going to look online, and I'm going to see if there's somewhere else on Sunday that I can find a battery at a comparable price. And then, when it's all said and done, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to write to Canadian Tire. Their latest ads are great, and they say, oh, look, we've got Party City in here. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Well, it's no party when you're standing alone in aisle 34, looking at what you want, and the bozo on the phone, well-intentioned bozo, who's probably busy counting something or doing something or who knows what, can't take the time to be helpful because he doesn't think I'm in the store. He thinks I might come to the store, but I'm in the store. Anyway, this whole adventure now has taken perhaps as much as an hour and a half, when really the store is, it's not close, but it's not far. I probably should have been able to be back here in, I would say between 45 minutes and an hour, maybe less, if I'd been able to walk in and say, oh, look, this is what I need, get this, right, great, fine, go get the battery. I could have had the new battery in. Could have been dandy. Now, I've got to get out of the car, open up the hood, put the battery charger back on the car, get it all plugged in, get it all happy. Oh, I might, maybe because I have access to the battery now, because the battery in this car is not in the front. It's in the back. That's why I need the special wrench. Not the special wrench, the extension, because you can't get at it. Anyway, maybe I'll put the battery charger directly on the battery. Because then I can lock up the car, I think. See, I'm always worried someone's going to steal the battery charger. Now, they can't steal the battery because they can't get into the car, because it's not under the hood. But they could do damage to the car if somebody was wandering around and says, hey, look, the hood on that car. So what I do is I put the battery charger deep as I can inside the thing, and I can't quite close the hood, but almost. So in the darkness, probably no one will notice, hey, look, that hood's up a little bit. Anyway, this story will be continued, and hopefully it will be continued with a happy ending. But I do think I will pass this story on to the people of the head office at Canadian Tire, so they can perhaps not, people, they have courses you take, and it really doesn't matter if you actually learn anything from them. It's just so that they can say that you've taken the courses. In other words, ass-covering maneuvers. Maybe they can actually get the managers to instill in the people in the store that customer service is important. It is primary. It is all important. It is all-encompassing. When someone comes in and says, yo, I'm looking for something, help them. Or if somebody calls and says, if I come in, can you help me? Say, yes, we can. You just come to aisle 34 and we'll take care of it. Anyway, to be continued. Bye for now. Hello, good morning. Let's continue the battery story, which of course turned into the Canadian Tire customer service story. I had a comment from Rudy of Rudy's Retro Intel saying that I should try at Walmart. They have batteries. And I thought, yeah, they do. I don't really like going to Walmart. But then, is Canadian Tire better? I will find out. I'm going to make a trip over and have a look. The one thing that's different about this battery is as it's in the car, there's some weird venting something or other thing that I need to be concerned about. So I'm told. So I'll at least go have a look, and then I'll see if I end up back at Canadian Tire. The other joyful thing to add to this is that even though it looks pretty okay right now, soon, very soon today, it's going to rain. It's going to rain and rain and rain and rain and rain. So that is not a really good time to be outside, standing at the back of a car, diddling around with anything, let alone something electrical. Now, am I really thinking that I'm going to get shocked because of the rain? No, but I'll get drenched. And I don't want to get drenched. I don't. Alright, so I'm off to Walmart to explore their batteries and my options. Another thought I had that, regardless of what kind it's supposed to be and how big it's supposed to be and physically and all that stuff, maybe I should try and get one that will fit my old motorcycle, which takes a car battery, because, with cars like this, it's a 2005, how long is it going to last? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, onward to Walmart. Yes, just a quick update. I have been to Walmart, and I found, according to their book, the battery that should be the replacement, and indeed it looks very similar. It's not quite as long, but it looks to be that it will fit in there okay, and I'm not really concerned because, of course, there's that little thing, the hold down thing to hold the foot down, and then there's a strap that goes around it, so it should be secure. Anyway, the weather is still looking alright, so I'm thinking I will go home and do the swap. One other thing that I do like about this one is it does have places that I believe I could access if ever I wanted to add distilled water, and I'm not just sure if the other battery, which, yes, originally was from Canadian Tire, it's an eliminator, but due to their excellent customer services, I have eliminated them from the picture. Onward. Well, hello. I am back at home. Just in time for the wind to pick up and the rain to come down. So I put the car back on my battery charger, and I will deal with the swapping of the battery later. I'm going to keep an eye because I think the beginning of the storm is supposed to be, on and off, and then it's going to be pretty terrible and pretty windy and pretty awful, maybe even thunderstorms. But for the moment, it's time to go inside, stay dry. So, to be continued. Well, hello. It's now a couple of days later. We've had a lot of rain, so I haven't been able to install this, but the procedure should be pretty simple now that I have been able to remove the hold down foot thing. Now, both of these things on the battery, as well as the hold down foot thing, require a 10mm socket. On the terminal, they're quite easy to get at, and it should not be very difficult once I get them off to get the battery out. The other thing, I can't even see. It's down in there. I have released it, but, it's down there. So, what I am now going to do is to take my 10mm socket, and it must be 10mm. I did try various other sockets of a imperial measurement size, and they just wouldn't do. Not that there isn't one, I just couldn't find one amongst my tools. So, I am going to remove the terminals, pull out the battery, and get her done. So there is my 10mm wrench, which I have loosened the negative terminal, and I believe it is very important to remove the negative terminal first. Because I see up near the front of the battery there looks to be a ground connector, And it could possibly be something you might accidentally touch the positive terminal to. So anyway, I have loosened this, and then you might find it's a little stiff. You might have to wiggle it. You might have to take a screwdriver and put it in here. But anyway, once you get it wiggling and it's loose, it should come off. And that is what I suggest you do. Take it right off. So here's a shot of the wrench on the terminal, the positive terminal, and you see there is that thing behind it that it might look closer than it is, but I certainly wouldn't want to touch it and cause a short. Anyway, to loosen the battery, you pull the wrench towards you. Now, if I had a socket, this would go much easier. I could just keep going, but I don't have a ratchet thing available at this moment. So I will wiggle it into position, I think, and then go again. Anyway, but that is the procedure to loosen the terminals. So I have now loosened the positive terminal, and if you look at it, you can see there is indeed a positive marking on it. The other dead giveaway that it is positive is that it's red. Anyway, once again, once you have it to that state, you should be able to give it a little wiggle, if that's what it needs, and take it off. And there, it has been removed. So now the battery should be ready to come out, I think. Alright, the battery is out. Keep in mind, it is heavy. It has two handles that should fold up, at least this one does, but it does take a good oomph to get it out. The other thing you really have to be careful of is to make sure that you have all the wires completely out of the way. For example, when I first went to pull this out, it didn't want to come, and it ended up that this red wire that runs along to the terminal was kind of beside the battery and also jammed into the spare tire, and the battery didn't want to come. But when I moved that wire, it was good. In other words, it's a tight fit. This is the foot holder thing, 10 millimeters, the one that's hard to get at. I'm not sure how I'll be able to get it back in or on. If we go back and look over here, we will find that the replacement battery that I got, which the book said was the right one, is shorter than the other. That may give me a little more breathing room. I'm not sure. Anyway, time to put the new battery in. Well, hi. Interesting. I have the battery in, but it's not sitting nice, and it wants to rock. And I don't know why, so sadly, I think I need to take it back out, see what's going on. So I have the battery back out, and I was looking to see if something had fallen in that would make it difficult for the battery to sit nice, and I don't see anything there, so I'm a little perplexed. I have run into another little issue. There's this drainage hose that is supposed to fit into a hole on the end of the battery. I really didn't look at it. I kind of forgot about that. But from my positioning here, it doesn't seem to want to fit, so I'm thinking it's a different size, and that is frustrating. So indeed, the hole on the end of the old battery is quite a bit bigger than the one on the new battery. That hose with that connector is supposed to go in, but it doesn't. So at this moment, there's nothing I can do about that, but I think I will look into finding another elbow thing. It's funny because, of course, this is supposed to be the battery that fits here. I am baffled. So I do not have the battery completely secured at all, and the hose is not attached. But I suppose what it's time to remove these little caps and connect it. Black on the negative, red on the positive. They also have a little positive sign and a little negative sign. And connect the terminals and see if the car starts. Alright, so I folded the little handles down, and the terminal is bare. The terminal is bare. I will connect the positive first, followed by the negative. So there is the positive terminal on the battery. There is the negative terminal on the battery. A good sign is that I have seen the clock on the radio light up. which of course it was not when nothing was connected. So now I have to just tighten these things up and then see about that foothold thing down. I forgot one thing. Here is the positive terminal. Here is the negative terminal. I am not going to have the negative terminal attached while I tighten the positive, because I don't want to touch that bolt and have something bad happen. So as you can see, I have the wrench on. I have given it a couple of turns. I put it, remember, 10 millimeters. And this time, of course, you do it towards the front of the car. And you don't want to reef on it so badly that you break something, but you certainly want it to be snug and secure that if you were to grab it, it will not move. Alright, so we have the negative, we have the positive, we have my keys. If I push this little button on here and hold it, the car should start. If all is well. And, oh, there, it's beeping, it's happy, it started. So far so good. I still have to see about securing the battery. I'm going to turn the car off now with the same button. Onward. There is the little hold down foot, and it does seem that even though this battery is shorter, there's a hole for it. So I have the foot in position. Now the challenge will be to actually get the bolt in there. So the bolt is in the 10 millimeter wrench. It seems to fit fairly snugly, and I'm sure there's a trick to this that I don't know about, something I could stick in there. But I'm going to try to get this to go in the hole. I'm not going to film it, because there could be cursing. Well, it's a bit of a miracle. The nut, bolt, whatever, did not fall out of the wrench. I was able to get it in. Now I just have to tighten it down. So I have the wrench on the bolt, and of course we turn to the right to tighten. We do. And, sorry about my hand, kind of hard to avoid there. And once again, I would say do it till it's good and snug. But, you know, people always say, oh yeah, just crank it till it snaps and back off half a turn. Yeah, don't do that. Alright, so the nut bolt is screwed and tight. The last thing there is there's this strap. And what you do with it is there's a little clip up here, just to hook it onto, and then pull it tight. It's kind of like a thing you'd use if you were traveling and you were tying things down. This may be a small thing, but I think it's an important thing. Do make sure that when you go to put the strap on, that you're not touching any of the wires or pulling on them. That could be bad. It could be. So you got to run it underneath and then run it up. Now I haven't put it on yet, but I will avoid the wires. I shall. And also, I will make sure there are no kinks in this little tie-down thing. Alright, so I have the clip for the tie-down on, and now I need to pull to get this to snug up so the battery is secure. Also, there's got to be careful. This tried to twist on me, and I do not want it to twist. So there's the end here, and you pull it. Now the cable, not the cable, the tie-down thing should snug up. It should. That took a little more effort than I had in mind, because of course this thing has been in position for many years, and in a different position. Anyway, good strong pull, gets it nice and snug. So now the battery is secure, and we're almost done. Now there is this red cap, and it was on the previous battery, but one did not come with the new one, but I'm going to reuse it. There are holes here, and it goes in the holes, and I imagine what it's supposed to do is to protect anything from touching the hot terminal, which is the red one, of course, and this is red. So, thankfully, the red cover fits right into the holes nicely, unlike the drainage tube. And I left this wire where it was, running through the middle. I'm not sure why, but anyway, that's where it is, so that's where I'll leave it. And shaboom! I think we're done. Alrighty, so I have started the car again. It seems to be fine. of course, here is the old battery. One thing I will do, because I'm curious, is I pulled the sticker off and I found the place to access the innards of the battery. I'm sure this will also do the same over here. You have to be really careful because there's acid in there. What I'm really wanting to see is the level in there down? And is that what caused this battery to fail and me to have to replace it? And, you know, possibly, is it possible that if I had just added distilled water, remember, it must be distilled water, available at most grocery stores and other such things, because a lot of people with CPAP machines use them, and I think I used to use them in irons. Anyway, at some point soon, I will open that very carefully on a flat surface with great care and check. And if you're not at all sure if you want to do this, then don't do it. Take the battery to the store, trade it in, be done with it. Shaboom. So, the battery is done. I'm now going to take the battery charger and put it away. To summarize, be careful. And it only takes a 10mm socket with an extension. And then, of course, you have to deal with the little strap. Use patience. Always connect the negative terminal last. When you're connecting the positive terminal, don't have the negative one connected already. You know, if you don't have a socket extension, and it should be, I think, 9 or 10 inches long, get one at whatever store you think would be good. Oh, and the main thing is, don't forget this, the back hatch is only opened and closed when you have power. If you take the battery out, like say you went to the store and you took the battery out, took it in, and came out thinking you're just going to open the hatch again, you're not. It will not open. I did not get a chance to test it with just a battery charger on it. My advice would be, close it, but make sure you've got something like a pop bottle or something in the way so it does not secure, because if it latches, God help you. Anyway, hopefully I never have to do that again. So this is David Bradley signing off. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Bye for now.